With this graph, we have a couple things we need to know. This horizontal line is called the x-axis. This vertical line is called the y-axis. Where the lines intersect here is called the point of origin, and that's the ordered pair 0, 0. X is always listed first in your ordered pair, and then Y, so it's alphabetical order. Now, the quadrants. There are 4 quadrants, and you start in this upper right-hand corner. This is quadrant 1, and it's Roman numerals. This is quadrant 2. Quadrant 3 goes counterclockwise, and quadrant 4. This question is asking for the quadrant and the ordered pair. So if we look at A first, right here is A. You can see A. If we look for the x-axis, it's above a 4. We look to the y-axis over here, and that is a 1. So that's the ordered pair 4, 1. And notice that's in quadrant 1. So quadrant 1, and the ordered pair 4, 1. Then we go to B right here. If we look to the x, that's below the 1 on the ordered pair, the first coordinate, and it's beside the -1 on the y-axis. And it's down here in the 4th quadrant. So that's quadrant 4, and that is the ordered pair 1, -1. Now you might want to stop and do the rest of them, and then come back and check with us. Okay, let's go to C, which is right here, and it is on the x-axis, so it's not in a quadrant. You can see when you did the drop down, it probably said x-axis, and notice that is at the ordered pair. The x is at 3, and if you look to the y, it's at 0. So this would be the x-axis, and the ordered pair would be 3, 0. Then D is over here. Look to the x, that's at -2. Be careful, your negatives on your x-axis are on the left. Your negatives on your y-axis are down below. And then over to the y, that's -1, and that's in quadrant 3. So that's Q3, and it is -2, -1. Then E. E is right here. It's the point of origin. So you have a choice. I believe it just says origin. I don't think it says point of, but it's the point of origin, and that's always the ordered pair 0, 0. F. Up here, you look to the x. Remember x first, so that would be -2. Look to the y, that's a +3, and that's in quadrant 2. So Q2 and -2, 3. Then finally G. This is on the y-axis, and it is at the axis. If you look up to the x-axis, that's at 0, and it's on the y-axis at -1. They're asking for the ordered pairs here. We're just going to have the column. This is going to be our x column. This is our y column. You might want to stop the video and try to figure these out, and then check them with what I put up next. So pause the video. Okay, so let's check these. A, that is at -3 for the x, and if we look to the y, it's at -1. For B, we look to the x down here, that's at -2, and we look over to the y, that's at 4. C, up here we look to the x, remember x is always first, that's at 3, and then over to the y, that is at 4. And then finally D is on the y-axis, so x is at 0 and y is at -4. This is the same thing, so you might want to pause again and we will check it. So go ahead and pause. All right, so A is on the y-axis, so that is at 0, 3. because it's above the 0 on the x-axis and it's at the 3 on the y-axis. Letter B is over here. It's above the -3 on the x-axis and beside the 4 on the y. Letter C, right here. If you look to the x-axis, that's -2, and the y is -1. And then D, if you look to the x-axis, that's 2, and then y is -4. Be careful, sometimes it's hard to see those negatives. The ones below the x-axis are negative, the ones above are positive. So that's 2, -4.